plug and play or hardwired tub? Has to be our most frequently asked question when people come to visit us here in the showroom. So I'm going to run through both types of tub, and I will start with your traditional hardwired tub, the one that's been around the longest, and explain to you the benefits of one of those, and then we'll move on and we'll talk about the plug and play. So a hardwired tub is normally 32 amps, can sometimes be 40 amps as well, depending on what's going on inside the tub. And that requires a dedicated electric supply for installation. So you will need an electrician to run a supply from your consumer unit in your house to where the hot tub is going. Our team will then wire the hot tub into that. So there can be a cost associated with that, and depending how complicated it is and how far away from your supply, that cost can be quite variable. We do have an in-house electrician that we can send out to give you a quote if that's something that you might need. Now, having it hardwired means that it can basically do everything. It will always have at least 2 pumps in a hardwired tub. Some of them have 3 pumps, some of them have 4 pumps. And those pumps are what give you the power in the jets for the hydrotherapy massage. So, if you have 2 pumps in a hardwired tub, one of those pumps will supply half of the tub and the other will supply the other half. So you can have half the tub on and half the tub off. If you have 3 pumps, it'll be split between 3, and if you have 4, it'll be split by 4. So it means that each position that you sit has pretty much a dedicated power supply of jets for you. Those pumps can be 2 horsepower, 3 horsepower, and sometimes even 4 horsepower. So depending on the intensity of the massage that you're looking to achieve from your hot tub, depends on how many pumps you're going to need. Now, the number of jets inside the tub is directly correlated to how many pumps you have. So there's no point having 150 jets and 1 pump. And equally, you're not going to have 4 pumps and 6 jets. So it's got to be distributed around the hot tub appropriately. Also, in a hardwired tub, you will generally have a 3 kilowatt heater, the larger size of the heaters. So in a plug and play tub, you would generally only ever have a 2 kilowatt heater. So both tubs will reach 40 degrees. However, the 2 kilowatt one will take longer to get there. The 3 kilowatt will do it quicker. However, the 3 kilowatt one will cost more per kilowatt hour than the 2 kilowatt. So they kind of do 6 of one, half a dozen of another, I suppose. But if speed of heat is something that you're looking for, the 32 is probably going to be better for you. The 13 amp will generally ever only have 1 pump. So it'll be 1 pump that will supply the power to all of the jets in your tub, which is why traditionally a 13 amp tub will have less jets in it than a 32. You may find a 13 amps for sale with lots and lots and lots of jets, but if it's only got 1 pump, it's almost pointless because you're just splitting up that power that's coming from the pump and spreading it out to the point where you're not getting much concentration of power through each jet. Now, the downside of your 13 amp, which just requires a normal 3-pin plug like your TV or your toaster, is that the tub cannot have your jets on high and heat at the same time. So if you have a 13 amp and it has 1 pump, usually, and I use this a lot because not all tubs are the same, but in the main, when it has 1 pump, it will be a 2-speed pump. So it'll be low jets and high jets. And when it's in high jet mode, so giving you the most amount of zhuzh, as I like to call it, that it possibly can, then it can't heat at the same time. It has to divert the power away from the heater to the jets because it's 13 amp, it just doesn't have enough power. So if you've got all your jets on full and it's not heating, then that means in the winter particularly you will be losing temperature from that body of water. Whereas in a 32 amp, you can have your jets on and the heater at the same time. Although it does depend how many pumps are in your tub, because if you have a 4 pump hot tub, you couldn't possibly have all those 4 pumps on and the heater. So there's a little bit of a balance to be had with all hot tubs, and it's just figuring out what's going to work best for you. So in the summer, 13 amp isn't going to lose much temperature. However, in winter, 13 amp with the jets on full will lose more than a 32 would. So you just got to kind of decide what's most important to you. So will you be using the tub for a little bit of family time, a little bit of socializing, relaxing, chilling, or are you going to be using it because you do lots of exercise, or you have a very physical job and you really need that intensity of massage, and you're going to want to sit in it for hours in the winter and not lose the heat? So those are the things that you need to weigh up to decide which is going to be best for you. So 13 amp tub traditionally will be cheaper to purchase initially, and a 32 will be slightly more expensive, just because the 32 has more inside it. So it'll have a bigger heater, it will have more pumps. If it's got more pumps, it has more jets, therefore it has more pipe work. So they cost more initially to purchase. Running costs, again, they kind of weigh each other out a little bit, because your 32 is doing more, but your 13 is making what you've got work harder. I would say a 32 amp is marginally more expensive to run, but really, really marginally. But you're getting so much more power at the same time. So hopefully that's helpful. 13 amp, called Plug and Play, much newer to the market, been around the last 20 years to make hot tubs accessible for everybody. Hardwired, your traditional long-term hot tub that's been around 50, 60 years, that requires a dedicated power supply but can do everything at the same time. So if you've got any more questions, feel free to call us, pop in, check out, drop us an email, and we can give you our honest opinion on which might work for you or which won't. And hopefully you found that helpful.